Clair that know all things trade show. And it's a main part of her job. And so Alyssa is going to share her screen and talk about identifying your goals, decorating for theme, trade show essentials, giveaways, and swag. So Alyssa, the floor is yours.
Yes. So, hello, everybody. I am here to talk about all things Trade Show 101. So, um, who am I? Alyssa Clair, Strategic Partnerships Manager for Loebsack and Brownlee. Why am I talking to you today, right? So part of my job is managing all of our relationships with our association partners, Lovely USAA and many others. We are now in 4 states, crazy, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and now Virginia. I'm sure you guys kind of all know what we do, but basically that's a lot of associations that we're involved with at the local, state, and national level. And as you know, if you're a supplier, they all have a trade show or conference. So I think at this point I've lost count, but it's like 35 and counting associations that we're involved with. And that's on the multifamily side, not even including the single family for those suppliers that are also over there as well. So lots of trade shows, lots of conferences that also have trade shows. And I've been doing this for about 3 years now. So you can imagine how many trade shows that's been. I don't want to do the math. That's scary. But yeah, let's get started. So today's objective, so this is tailor-made for supplier partners, diving either into the industry, dipping their toes into trade shows if you haven't done that before yet. Maybe this is a new market for you, or just simply eager to level up your trade show game. So this is going to go through a lot of top tips and whatnot. So here are some of the topics we'll be going through. So like we already kind of went through expectations, registration, and attendance with the Lovely USAA staff. Themes and prizes. They kind of talked about their kind of theme and prizes, but we'll talk about how we utilize that into our planning as suppliers. Choosing quality swag, budgeting, how to be approachable, do's and don'ts, etc. So let's get right into it. So you want to identify first and foremost, once you, in general for any trade show, or maybe even for the year, you could do this as well, or each individual market, however you best want to utilize this, but ultimate goal that you want to accomplish with your trade show. So whether it's to reach new clients, break into a new market, maintain your connections with clients and or association staff, or all of them. It could be a multitude. And it could vary from market to market or association to association, state to state, whatever it may be. But you just want to make sure that you are approaching it with that goal in mind. So for your planning timeline, I kind of included this just for those that have maybe never planned a trade show before, or maybe, feel stressed when planning a trade show and like want to have a better, easier, stress-free time when planning a trade show. So you want to make sure first and foremost that you figure out all your trade show logistics. Some of this might change depending on the association and how quickly they get the theme out, but mostly trade show logistics is super important. So picking out your booth as early as you can. If you want shameless plug to being a diamond or one of the annual sponsors, you get to pick out your booth first, or early if you're platinum, and other things, like pretty much any sponsorship. So it's invaluable, honestly. I'm not even just saying that as a diamond. Like, it's great, like seriously. And you want to make sure you brainstorm as early as you can. Designing your layout for your booth, if that's something that you guys customize per trade show, or if you have your kind of standard layout that you do every year. If your company doesn't allow you to kind of have that kind of freedom, that's totally okay. But you want to make sure you have a layout for if you are the person planning, or if you were the person setting up, or if you're both, you still want to have that layout just in case something were to happen and you had to have someone else set up for you. You want to have that kind of guideline for them, right? And then you want to decide who's attending, of course. You want to make sure you have your best people there, and then planning up your setup logistics as kind of Courtney and Andrea outlined. For this trade show, you get a setup time, which is awesome. And I do want to reiterate one thing. I didn't want to interrupt them while they were going. This is one of the trade show. There's only a couple that I go to that you get to like drive up. And actually, this one is the only one that you get to drive into the building to unload. So you guys don't know how lucky you are if you're not in other markets. The other ones you have to like park really far away in a parking lot, and you have to like lug all your stuff over. Some of them will let you kind of come up to a ramp, and that's about as far as you get. And then you have to go park super far away and then have to like huff it back over to the building. This one, you're like super close, you pull in, you unload, and then you can go park your car like really close by. So just make sure that you're really respectful of that benefit, and you're getting in and out so that other people can pull their cars in as well. So sorry, shameless plug. Just wanted to really reiterate how like valuable and unique that feature is. So for theme, as we know, is icons for this trade show. You want to make sure you're planning for it if you are allowed. I don't want to like make anyone feel bad if you're not allowed to, you know, have that creative freedom with your company. That's totally okay. Maybe just see if there's like some little things that you can do. Maybe you add a little thing on your tabletop, just like see what you can do. If you can't, it's totally fine, but it does help with engagement at your booth, I will say. So whether that's planning themed outfits for your attendees to wear, even if it's just a t-shirt or like maybe like a headband or, you know, something that literally you can incorporate, see if you can get that cleared. But as far out as you can go with that, the better. People love seeing people in silly outfits. Incorporate the theme into your swag if you can. Maybe that's a way that you can get that through to your marketing team or whoever approves that. And then don't forget to bring that into your decor, signs, things like that as well. And then make sure you're picking out swag and giveaway items as early as possible. And we'll talk a little bit about how you can do that later, but make sure. I'm kind of still seeing this 5 to 6 weeks here was kind of like COVID, like what was it, the logistics chain, whatever, people were not getting stuff on the timely manner. Basically, I'm still seeing that with swag, so I would just try to plan that out as far as you can to give yourself a little leeway. And I give myself a few extra weeks outside of that 5 to 6 if you can do it, because you know, sometimes shipping delays and things, depending on where you're getting stuff from, if it has to be imported from China, you know how it goes. So that's your planning timeline. All of that is just, I didn't put any specifics on like how long all that takes, because it really just depends on your skill level and how much like freedom you have. So it could take, you know, as long or as little as it takes you. So your basic trade show essentials that you're going to want to bring if you've never done a trade show before. If you have, feel free to disregard this, but branded tablecloth, if possible. A regular one is fine, but obviously everything branded is better. You want to have a backdrop or a pop-up banner. So when I say pop-up banner, it's either like one of those like where you pull and retract, or there's ones that you can kind of slip over a cover and they're like pipe style. There's many different kinds, but that's what I mean when I say pop-up banner. A backdrop being like a fabric covered backdrop, things like that. And obviously branded is better, but if you can even incorporate, maybe you do a backdrop that's incorporated with a theme instead of it being branded, or if you can do both, great. Depends on your budget. And then business cards or rack cards or any kind of promotional materials that you might need in order to advertise your business. Obviously your swag, some kind of fishbowl or container to collect business cards for your giveaway. I've also even done with a fishbowl item for your gift for your business cards, is incorporating that into the theme. So I've used like a trophy before for like a sports themed one. I used like a little cauldron for like a, you know, Halloween themed one. There's many different ways. I've done like a cowboy hat. Like you can make it as fun as you want, and that could be a little way you sneak that in there too. And then it could be incorporated into your giveaway item as well. And then you want to make sure you have one. So we'll talk about giveaway items and what some suggestions I have for that later, but let's kind of get into theme, right? So decorating for a theme, why should you do it? Attendees are more likely to stop by your booth and engage with you longer if you incorporate the theme. And you can decorate for it on any budget, and you can go all out or keep it simple. So anytime I've kind of gone for super general, I found that people don't stop at our booth as long. That's just my personal experience. But okay, so how can you incorporate it into different budgets? So your general trade show equipment obviously is a kind of more expensive route that you could take, especially if it was branded and you have like custom things. You may not be able to reuse it if you don't see the theme again, or if your branding changes, but that is a way to do it. We've done it before. It is pretty expensive, I will say that. So just keep that in mind. Your swag can be cheap or more expensive depending on what you're doing with it. So if you're doing like a stress ball, for example, you could have a little like baseball, or for you know, calling David from Poop Prints like icons and emojis. I immediately thought of him when you mentioned emojis. He has the little poop emoji stress balls. That's a perfect way to incorporate if he does go with emojis, not trying to spill all his secrets for what he's going to do with his theme. I have no idea, but I would assume that would be a great way to utilize it. Things like that, or even like we did a sports themed one a couple of years ago for USAA, and we were the Space Jam basketball team. So we had little basketball magnet like bottle openers that you can stick on your fridge, things like that. Just like super simple. It doesn't have to be super expensive or elaborate, but you can incorporate it into your swag if you do have that flexibility and don't order your swag like in bulk for the year. Your decor, obviously, you can go all out or as cheap as you would like to, just having a little couple things on your table. You can, you know, get like balloon arches that are custom, like you can go all out, or you can kind of just incorporate it on a small scale. We've done both, and we've won trade shows doing both, you know, all out or kind of on the cheaper end. So it's not necessarily that you have to spend all the money to win. It's just really your creativity and being able to engage people as well with that, and just making sure you know your audience and what's going to resonate with them the best, right? So I've even thought of some things in my initial brainstorm for icons, and I'm like, I don't know that like everyone would get that reference because I am kind of younger, so I'm like, I have to make sure that it caters to a wide audience because our industry has many different generations in it. So you have to make sure it's going to like land with everyone, especially because we don't know who or where these people are coming from that are judging our booths, if winning is something that you're trying to do. And then also your giveaway, it can be as expensive or as cheap as you'd like to go. It could be a gift card that's, or even a giveaway basket. Say like, you know, last year we did, was it Night at the Movies, I think. So you could have done like a movie themed basket, whether it's, you know, some tickets or a gift card and tickets to the movies. It can have, you know, popcorn, things like that, or even like a at-home movie night basket or whatever it may be. Or if it was sports, it could be tickets to the Greenville Drive and, you know, some sports things and, you know, a gift card to dinner after or whatever it may be. And it could also, your giveaway can also be tailored to what you do as well, which we'll talk about later. So some theme examples, shameless plugs to some things we've done in the past. You can kind of see some of them. We went way all out here on the left. And then this one on the right is actually very similar. Actually, that was our booth from last year for USA. So the one on the left, we did, it was like game themed. So we did Candyland. So you can see we kind of rented some props, went all out. Yeah. And actually our giveaway was this gumball machine, and we had people guess how many gumballs were in it, and they could win the whole gumball machine with like gumballs and all. Obviously the gumballs in the gumball machine were brand new and everything, but things like that. And then here on the right, we had a little balloon, not an arch, but it's a little circle thing. And we had a little, this thing right here is a photo booth that we had, and we had some props over here that people could utilize for their photos, lots of swag. We had some movie props to kind of pull in. And then our arch, you can see, is our coloring, but it also had like, you know, the little director's cut little thing and some movie elements into it. You kind of can't see, but here in the very left corner, you'll see our business card collector was a little popcorn bucket. So as I said, like kind of one of the ways to collect business cards that could be fun. And then we'll keep it going. So you can go, here's some more examples. So here on the left, we have my lovely employee, Abby, who you guys might know, and the infamous Matt Morrison here. This one was homecoming. So somehow I was able to con my employees into dressing up as homecoming king and queen. So amazing. And then we actually had some little themed popcorn boxes that were like sealed, obviously, inside and whatnot. So that had our logo on them. So that's a way to incorporate into your swag. We also made a little custom, little cute like Spirit Week poster with like different days that we made up a little theme that you can kind of see at homecoming. And then obviously some little cute swag. And then you can see some of our custom backdrop and other booth equipment. Here in the middle, we really went all out. This was GCAA 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. It was Carnival, and we actually hired a woman who did aerial art. So she was on the little hoop thing doing moves throughout the time. And then that was awesome. And then Miss Michelle O'Brien, our director of operations here, dressed up as a ringmaster. And then you can see we had some balloons and such. And a very similar theme over here, but we had all our team dress up as various acts. Abby here is a gypsy. We got a ringmaster. We got some jugglers and a mime and things like that. So super fun if you can get your team to kind of dress up and get active with it. So swag and giveaways, as I talked about earlier, we were going to get into. We'll kind of skip through this, but it is kind of fun, little trivia. So actually swag goes all the way back to George Washington's campaign in 1789. So swag has been utilized for a very long time. So it does work. I know it's very expensive, as we suppliers know, but it is something that is important. And then here's some really fun facts about why we buy swag, just to kind of remind us why we are putting in this effort in and why we're spending this money. 60% of consumers keep a promotional product for about two or more years. 85% of product recipients did business with the advertiser who gave them the item, which is amazing for those of us at trade shows spending money on swag. 53% of people use the promotional product at least once a week. That's awesome. And then 72% of consumers say the quality of a promotional item impacts their brand, the brand reputation, and their feelings about that brand. So make sure that you're buying quality. If you do get something that's not printed right, or, you know, doesn't function as you think it should, obviously work with your supplier or your vendor company that you're getting your swag through, and they should make it right if they're a good company. But you also want to double check your swag before you give it out, to make sure that everything is good, because you obviously don't want to give things bad quality, even if it wasn't your fault for the bad quality. You want to make sure you double check that. Little tip. And then obviously name recognition. As we know, customer needs to see your brand at least 7 times before deciding to work with you. That might now be like 8 times depending on social media and all the many mass ways that we market to people, but roughly about 7. Swag is also the most effective way to prompt action across all generations, which is super important, as probably Courtney can speak to more than me. You know, vastly, like social media hits different people, different social media platforms hit different generations more prevalently than others. And this is something that's prevalent across all generations, which is very rare in the marketing world, very important. And swag has the highest recall rate of any advertising medium. And swag gives 82% of people a more favorable impression of the brand that gave it to them. So it's super important to buy swag. Another reason is as a thank you to your client, or a thank you to, you know, someone for stopping by your booth. Especially for us, we use it as a reminder to our clients, and markets that we're kind of already established. We use it as a reminder, and also just like, hey, thanks for doing business with us. We value you as a client, and we want to continue doing business with you. So even though you may be like super established in the market, you still want to make sure you're upholding that, you know, that quality, that brand reputation, and just like, you know, showing your clients that you care and that you cherish them. And then for 2024, little swag trend report, these are kind of the trends that we've been seeing with swag, as people are like more likely to interact with or take or keep, you know, and not throw away after, which kills my soul, people throwing things away. Travel friendly, eco-friendly, neons are back in. So like things that are brightly colored, things that are tech forward, and then health and wellness related items. So that's something to keep in mind as you're buying swag if you haven't already. And then here kind of, we talked a little bit about before, but you want to look for swag. Ideally, it incorporates all these things, or at least a couple of these things, as you go through and plan your swag, but related to what you do is great. If it's something, you know, maybe I've seen people that I really think is awesome, like landscaping companies will bring like plants and examples of their work and their supplies of plants and stuff. They'll bring them to the trade show and give them away at the end of the night. One, you don't have to take it back with you. Amazing, love that as a supplier, I'm sure. Less to pack up at the end of the night, right? And then 2, you're showing your quality of your work and your brand and all the things that you have, and then also you're giving it away as a thank you, right? So I mean, win-win-win right there for me. I've obviously seen other things as well. There's one company I know in Charlotte that people like obsess about. Like, I had to go see for myself, and honestly, I get the hype now. There's this company called the Glass Doctor, not even trying to like selfishly plug, but they give you like full size like aerosol, like I guess it's like the best glass cleaner ever. And now that I've tried it after 3 years, I finally tried it and went and like stopped by. They're very nice and gave me one as a supplier. Always make sure to ask your fellow suppliers before you go around and taking stuff. But it is amazing. It smells amazing. It works really well. But people rave every year and like run over to this place to get these cans of glass cleaner. You wouldn't think it, but you know, they're known for it every year. And that, you know, I try to do different things every year, but if you have something that you like is known to you and that people really love, why not lean into it? You have that, and then they come to find you every time to get that swag item. So that's another method of doing it. Related to the theme, as we mentioned before, that's one way to do it. And then something you would want to use. This is what I personally, we're kind of known. I'm not even trying to say, like, people tell us this all the time, that we have the best swag. I think we do, but like, no shade to anyone else. I've seen amazing swag from other companies. I'm not trying to knock anybody. It's just something that we hear often. But This is what I do to my mindset, and I'm sharing my little secrets with y'all. Something you would want to use, something that solves a problem for your client or clients or potential clients, and then something that people will want to keep at their desk in their car or in their purse or bag, as bonus points if it's like the bag that they bring to work, or the card that they're bringing to work, things like that. So those three things are, and obviously the other things as well, but mostly those three things. Something I would want to use personally, but maybe wouldn't want to buy myself, right? So for example, I have a couple things in front of me. We have a little, you can't really see it, have a little cube timer if you're in like time blocking. That's something that's really cool. We have like a little desk vacuum. People like saw those on TikTok, and they love them and rave about them. We have some really awesome swag. We have Tide pens. You never can have too many Tide pens for stains. I love to bring those for conferences, for conference swag items, for swag bags and things, because your girl can't like not get a stain. So I imagine other people are similar, especially with coffee and things like that. And then things that solve a problem for your clients. Like I said, Tide pen is a great one. People time blocking, keeping people on task. People love those time blocks. They'll bring them like 4 back to their whole team, because they want like to make sure their team is managing their time efficiently, things like that. And then obviously a couple of those things where you keep in your purse or bag, and a couple of them you keep on your desk. Some we have in our car that I can't think of off the top of my head, but those things, like they're at their desk at work, they're going to remember to do business with you because they see your item on their desk, right? Or to get back to you about that invoice or email you back or whatever. Or if they're in their purse or bag for work, they're like seeing your Tide pen or whatever it is. Oh yeah, I gotta do another order with Alyssa or whatever it may be. Or if it's in their car and they're driving to or from work, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot I need to email Alyssa back. Like you want to be in their head where they're gonna remember like work things, if that makes sense. Cause like they might remember at home, but then forget by the time they get to work. That's my little secret. All right, moving on. Some swag examples. Oh, perfect. Here we go. So this right here is actually our little vacuum that I talked about earlier. This right here is actually a little charger that connects to the back of your phone if you have MagSafe. I don't have it on right now, but it'll like MagSafe on there. And then this little lip here actually turns into like a phone stand. So like tech forward, solves the problem, especially people traveling at conferences. I love to give this away at conferences. And then it also like stands your phone up on your desk. Win, win, win. This was a little slinky, not like super like exciting, but we did do like a 90s theme trade show, and slinkies, of course, were all the rage. So that was fun. And then this right here is actually a little like lint roller ball. It has like a little sticky, I don't even know what you call it, but it's a ball that sticks and you can just rinse it off and it's reusable. It's great for travel, people to throw in their work bags, things like that, things for people to bring to conferences. So that's awesome. This I had to, my little pink suitcase here. But we had a little thing that goes over your handle that you can put little drinks in. If you've seen those before, those are pretty fun for travel. And then this is a little pencil pouch. We do a lot of education and lunch and learns and things for our clients. So it's a great thing for people to give away at classes. Some examples. And then now we're getting into giveaways, which I know I kept saying we're going to talk about later. We are. Here we go. So why bother with a giveaway anyway? It's opportunity. So USA is unique. As they said, everyone gets their moment supplier wise on the stage to kind of announce their giveaway. Not all, actually most trade shows don't do that. There's only like a couple I can think of off like 3 off the top of my head that I can think of that do that out of like the 35 that we do. Most you just have to contact afterwards. So this is a great trade show to do like an actual physical item. If you usually do a gift card, it could be something that you might want to consider, because you don't have to take it back with you, make arrangements to meet up with that person and drop it off, even though that is great, an opportunity to meet up with them again later, get a photo op, visit the property. It just depends on your preferences. If you have like a really big item and you want them to take it home and you don't want to take it back, this is the time to do that. This trade show is great. So you do get that opportunity for your giveaway announcement with a full audience and photo op opportunity. You make your client's day, right? So like giving away a Yeti cooler, for example, as Andrea said earlier, I don't want to buy a Yeti cooler. I can't like justify spending, I don't even know how much they cost nowadays, 400, 500, like crazy amount of money for a cooler. But I would love to get one. I would love to win one. So something like that, where it's like, again, kind of like the mentality with the swag, something that you want, but you wouldn't want to buy for yourself, could be awesome. And even if you can go a step further, if it's a Yeti cooler, you can throw in some like beach stuff in there or sports stuff to take to the tailgate or whatever. If you're incorporating the theme that way through your giveaway item. And it also shows appreciation for stopping and interacting at your booth. And if you're known for giving away really cool stuff, people are going to come back to you every year and be like, what's your giveaway this year? Or if you give away the same thing, they're like, oh, I got to get that Yeti this year. Da, 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 da. They're going to remember, trust me. And it also creates a big favorable memory from the trade show. And then they're going to want to come to the trade show every year because they know that there's these really awesome giveaways or really awesome swag or whatever. And not only does it obviously help us to get more people to attend the trade show and stop by our booths and get new clients, but also, you know, it helps out our upper state folks and gets them the support and helps them grow as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. Okay, so some ideas. Obviously, gift cards are great. Everyone loves a gift card. I'm not even gonna lie, I use that often, but it's generally better to utilize that for a trade show where you're not going to get that time on the stage. So this is generally an area where I would do something more. And that's just my suggestion. But gift cards are always great. And it could be gift certificate, gift card, whatever you want to call it. I mentioned themed gift baskets before. I won't go too much into detail, but basically if you can, even if it's just themed for whatever the gift basket is, not even for the actual theme, that's awesome. But it's, you know, especially awesome if you have the theme incorporated in your themed gift basket. So for icons, it could be, honestly, you have so much room with this one. I can't even come up with an idea off the top of my head right now because there's just so many great ideas, but get really creative with it. People love tech items, as I showed you guys in the swag report for 2024. That seems to be a consistent item that people want to receive. So especially because they're usually big ticket items and people may not want to buy them themselves, whether it's like a Google Home or a Kindle or an iPad or whatever it may be, or a speaker or whatever. Those items are always a big hit. And then big ticket home items as well are always a big hit, as we know from our raffles that we've done. So like the service and relations auction, things like that. People love like fancy grills or Yetis, as we said, or solo stoves or things like that that are like really expensive and people like want, but maybe they wouldn't spend the money on themselves. So that's a great way to kind of do that. And then also a free good or service from your company is a great giveaway as well, depending on what your company does. You could also incorporate that maybe into your gift basket as having a little giveaway part, that being like a service from your company. I will say, shout out to College Hunks and Junks. I won a gift certificate from them. Not this past service and relations, but the one before, for a little gift certificate for like, I think it was like $500 in moving or junk services. I love that. Like I utilized them. They were amazing. And honestly, I would work with them again based on that. So you know, you get something super awesome that some people might need, but might not want to spend the money on, or they need to do anyway, and they were going to spend money on anyway, and they get a discount or free, and then they get to try out your services. So win, win, win. There's plenty of other amazing giveaways or prize ideas, but these are kind of some foolproof like standards to go through. And then now we're getting into the actual trade show. So when you're at the trade show, how do you be a showstopper? And when I say showstopper, I mean people stop and want to engage with your booth. You are the talk of the trade show. You either, you know, are winning one of those first, second, or third in theme, or you're just someone to be remembered from the trade show, right? So you want to be approachable, number one, like hands down, no matter what, even if you're not doing theme, you want to be approachable. You don't want to be sitting behind your booth on your phone, on a computer, whatever, talking to your coworker, looking very disinterested in the people walking by. You want to stand out near the front is generally what I recommend, or you at least have someone, if you have a table, like one person behind the table doing swag, one person out like greeting people and pulling them in. You know, there's various ways you can do that, and don't wait to be approached as well. Don't wait for them to come to you. Go to them. Hey, oh my God, I love your outfit. Come see what we got going on, or come play our game. A game is a great way, or some kind of attraction, like photo booth game, something like that is a great way to get people to reel in as well, especially helpful if someone's already playing, then people are going to see and they're going to want to play and stop. So that's a great way as well. But make sure you're, you know, like for Carnival, I did like step right up and come see our amazing aerial artist, or come like blah, 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 whatever it is. Or like, you know, like let's play ball, or, you know, whatever it is, like your theme is, like try to incorporate that into getting people, try to compliment people, ask them questions, things like that. And then consider, as I said, having a game or attraction. bonus points if it's tied to the theme. And that will get them to stop and want to have a conversation. Even if they don't want to play, they might just think it's fun and looks fun and want to watch other people play on their team or something like that. So it's a great way to like engage, like someone's playing and you're engaging the other people in their group about said, whatever game they're playing. And then you can kind of be like, oh, have you heard of us? Da, 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 and lean into it that way. All right, so playing do's and don'ts, do make your list and check it twice, and make sure you're sharing these lists with your teams. We actually have a trade show checklist that we utilize. We also have like more trade show planning that we do behind the scenes that most of our team that's attending doesn't need to see, but we have a checklist that we do share with the rest of the team. And if you would like the link to that or a template, I would be happy to share it with you. Please reach out to me. And then do have a plan in advance for getting your equipment to and from the venue, especially if you have kind of an elaborate booth. You want to make sure, do we need a truck? Do we need to rent a U-Haul or whatever it may be? Make sure you have a plan and that you have a backup plan for your plan as well, just in case whoever's truck is no longer available, they get sick, whatever. You want to have a backup plan. And then do make sure to set up during your specific hours, as we've talked about before, with Courtney and Andrea. And if you can't make your hours, make sure you reach out to them and make arrangements to get new hours, or come after that 4 p.m. and really hustle and get your booth ready by 5. And then some trade show don'ts. Don't forget to let your team know, or your manager or whoever, your company, know that you'll be unavailable during that time so you can focus on the event, whether it's the setup time that you have that's during work hours, or, say you don't want to be on call or whatever from 5 to 9 while we're, setting up or doing the trade show and then tearing down. You want to really focus on that, so you're not getting calls and emails and whatnot that you have to like step away and answer. You want to focus on getting new clients, and then the rest can wait till tomorrow, right? And then don't forget to wear comfortable shoes. I cannot stress this enough. Trade shows have probably killed my feet and back over the years, especially if I think I wore heels one time, and that was a terrible. I did it for the outfit. I went for the theme, but make sure you wear comfortable shoes. I will never do that again. You will be standing for quite a few hours, and then especially, some of these floors, concrete, if you don't have padded flooring with your booth, it can really kill you. And then this is my personal recommendation, obviously take it with a grain of salt, you do you, but I just suggest don't make aggressive sales, right? You're just here to make connections, really. And then in my experience, treating people like it's just a relationship that you're trying to build, rather than these like really aggressive sales off the bat when you haven't really met somebody before. It just kind of gives people the ick, in my experience. I don't personally like it when people do it to me. I'm sure people don't like it when other people don't like it when it's done to them. So just try to utilize this as relationship building. Tell them the benefits of working with you, and then kind of follow up and go that route, rather than being like trapping someone and like doing an aggressive sale. That's just my personal 2 cents. Do whatever your company makes you do or tells you to do, or whatever you feel is best, but that's my suggestion. And then I've added this recently. I think it's really important, the essential event planning skill you will need, because planning a trade show, you're planning an event. You are, like, although Andrea and Courtney are technically putting the event on, you are putting a mini event on yourself within that event. So they do an amazing job at making this, what I'm about to talk about, very easy to do. But just for all your trade show planning, some of the other other events I've been to haven't been as well planned. I'll just say that. And you just want to make sure you're prepared for anything. So the most essential event planning skill you need is the ability to quickly problem solve. Okay. I cannot stress this enough. I teach this to my team. Anything that can go wrong with an event, as I'm sure Andrea and Courtney can back me up and vouch for me, will go wrong. And this is something I like, even though I'm really good at it now, there's always something new that will happen that you could have never imagined. And I add it to my repertoire of things to plan, like to just like have in the back of your mind, even if you don't have to like fully plan A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. You just want to make sure that you know that that's a possibility and know how to problem solve that if it were to happen. So this is the most essential skill, and we'll talk about kind of how you can like do this. So You want to make sure a few suggestions. There's obviously like I could teach a whole class on this, honestly. But make sure you're having everyone's contact number, the staff that's going to be there. Even if you have like different people setting up versus the people that are attending, or you're having a company come set up for you, or you're, doing a photo booth or a balloon arch that someone's going to come set up for you, some kind of like rental thing that you're doing. Make sure you have both the contact of the person delivering, because it might be different from the person who you were talking with to sign the contract. Make sure you know who you are going to be interacting with on the day of the event and who's picking up and what time and all of that. Just make sure you have phone numbers, direct lines, so that you never know. And then this is what we do personally. And I can also, if anyone would like to chat about this with me, I have a list. We can chat through your options, whatever. I'm happy to help anybody out, but having a trade show essentials box for when you may have to improvise. So we have kind of like a box that we've edited over the years of like things that you would need if you have to like, your poster, you forgot your easel for your poster boards, and now you have to like improvise some way to put up your poster. So we have various different kinds of tape and things like that, or things that you could lean it on. And like we've gone through it all. You want to make sure you have some kind of like box cutter, scissors, and having this box, people have borrowed from me multiple times. And I love helping out my fellow suppliers, but if I'm not at that trade show, I can't help them out if they don't know that I have this box because they're not nearby. So just make sure you have these things. There's plenty of things that you can put in here. Obviously an easel, if it folds up, nice and neat, that's awesome. We have various like cable ties or things like that. I have a whole list. I don't want to get into it too deep, but if you would like to talk to me about this or get maybe a copy of our list, I'm happy to share that with you guys because I love my fellow suppliers. And then knowing when and how to ask for help, whether it's you need to borrow somebody's scissors or you forgot packing tape to ship your stuff back or whatever it may be, just knowing how to approach somebody and how to be like super, super nice when you're asking for that help. Or maybe it's like you're going to the staff, association staff, and you're like, hey, my power is not working or whatever, like making sure you're not like freaking out, you're not being rude to anybody. You just want to approach that because you want that help, right? And if you're rude, no one's going to help you. And then having a backup plan, as I mentioned, for your backup plan. So, say you have your photo booth coming in and they ghost you, right? Like, what's your backup plan? What can you improvise, or how are you going to fill that space in your booth if they don't show up? Maybe it's you have somebody with an iPad the last minute on your team that could bring their iPad in a little stand and you kind of makeshift your own photo booth or whatever it may be. Just make sure that you have a plan for when that might happen, or your stuff doesn't arrive if you shipped it. Like, what are you going to do? Can you run and grab a tablecloth from Walmart or something or whatever? That it has happened. All of these things have happened to me. So you just want to make sure that, and you're not going to be perfect. There's going to be, as I said earlier, a new thing that happens that no one could ever have planned for. And you just have to keep it moving, but you have to be able to quickly, like, what am I going to do, and not freak out and problem solve and just get through the event. And then now that is a possibility and you know how to handle it. Or maybe you're like, okay, now that I wasn't like panicking, now I know what I would have done differently for next time. And then you just keep it moving and you learn. There's no like, things have happened. I've, maybe not handled it the 100% best way I would have if I was in a calm mind to really problem solve, but you learn this skill over time through doing these trade shows. And that's pretty much the gist, but the show's not over until you follow up after the show to maximize your impact, of course. So you spent all this money on this trade show, you got all these business cards. What are you going to do with it? Right? Or you talk to all these clients. Now what? You want to follow up, right? You want to show that tenacity and that you are, there for them and that you appreciate it and talking with them and that you want to do business with them. Right? So some suggestions, follow up with the people that leave their business cards. And I will even go a step further and shout out to my girl, Merritt King, a fellow board member, USAA, and also a fellow supplier with One Tom Plumbing. She did this, and I think I saw her do it, and I think she told me about it as well, which I thought was like super, super smart. I hope I'm not spilling your secrets, Merritt, but she would actually write little notes on either the business card or like on her phone notes app or whatever she was using. And she would be like, Sally has a daughter in dance or something, whatever she talked about with that person. And she would recall that when she followed up with them, being like, oh my gosh, Sally, was so great to meet you. I love chatting with you about, your daughter in dance, blah, blah, blah. I also have a daughter, she doesn't, but you know what I mean? Like whatever it is that you can like have that connection with them, amazing. Or like she needs blah, blah, blah at her property, and I might not be the resource, but I know a company that can help her, and that even helping her get another company to solve that problem, she's going to remember you, right? So things like that, I think, are genius. And making any little notes that you can to really just like personalize that follow-up, and not just like, hey, thanks for stopping by our booth at the trade show, blah, 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 like the blanket, right? And then association staff usually sends out an email list of all attendees to suppliers, either before or after or both the show. So make sure you're utilizing that. If it's before, you're checking to see, you know, who's coming so far, you know, who are your current clients, who are you trying to target, and then you can kind of utilize that data appropriately. And then after, you want to make sure, you know, there's definitely going to be people who didn't register in that before list, or registered last minute, or just showed up to the event, that, you know, check that after list because it might be different. And then you want to follow up with those people as well. Thank them for stopping by your booth. If you can personalize that in any way, you could even do an additional little giveaway. Anybody who, you know, goes all the way down to the bottom of this email and clicks this link is entered into a gift card giveaway for $25, whatever. You can make it like as elaborate as you want. But I really highly stress following up is like super, super important. And with that, that's a wrap for me. If you have any questions, or if you would like to brainstorm with me or get any links to anything, or I can make a copy of some of our stuff into a template for y'all, happy to share my resources. I love my suppliers, and I want to make sure we could always use more resources and education for our supplier folks. So I just want to make sure that I am a resource to y'all as a board, not only as a board member, but just as a person in general. I love you, and I want to give you those resources. So my LinkedIn, if you'd like to connect with me, my direct line that goes to my personal phone, if you ever need to reach me, and then also my email here, if you would like to email me for any information, slides, any templates, I'm happy to share. So with that, that's it for me, unless you guys have any questions for me.
No, that's great.
No, I think I want to like touch on a few things that you brought up, just as good reminders. One, when you had the popcorn swag, that's not an us rule, that's the convention center rule. You guys are not allowed to bring food in unless it's pre-packaged and sealed like that. And I know that can be sad times, because I've definitely gotten a crumble cookie from a trade show vendor before, but pre-sealed, packaged, we will have food to feed everyone with. But it has to be pre-sealed, packaged. We get asked that every year. My other thought about swag is you can put more than just your logo on it. Put your card in business, basically put your business card on your swag, like put your phone number, put your email. Like for those of you that work, Alyssa's a little different. They don't work in firm, like hard sales, but you know, those of you that like work in sales, put all of your info on there, because people are going to get a bajillion business cards, and they get here, there, everywhere. But if every time I look down, you know, at my pen, I see your phone number, that's going to be a little different. That's going to prompt me to call you. And the other thought I have about business cards is, as much as we encourage our members to bring them, they don't always work in a position. Not everyone gives their groundskeeper or their leasing professionals maintenance people business cards. So what you want to have available is something there makeshift that they can write their information down for you. I mean, I've seen people tear up pieces of paper, but it's definitely awesome and easy when it's like pre-made, like if they have Post-its. Write your stuff, fold the Post-it, put it in there, because you want to make sure you get everyone's information. We do send you guys the attendee list. We will not send it to you in advance. We will send it all at the same time. But also, the attendee list is not a perfect match until after the event, because we do have people show up and go, hey, my friend so-and-so registered, you know, my maintenance technician registered, but he sent me in his place. And then that's someone's different name. Like the company people walk in and they register on the spot. We always have a ton of registrations on the spot. So like the amount of contact information you yourself will get to collect is going to be possibly better than what we can send. Of course, we will still send it to you guys, but getting their information while they're in there. Those are just a little few thoughts I had while Alyssa was going through her stuff. And definitely that little kit is such a good idea. We always have guys asking us for scissors and tape and this and that, which we do have, but we also have it because we're setting up our own decorations and stuff. So yeah, like a little survival kit, if you will. But we're really excited to see y'all get creative. And also, when you do swag that is related to the theme, make sure it's just something that you can continue to reuse in the future. Brownlee Whitlow is really good about that. Like last year, their little squeezers were popcorn. The year before, it was like a baseball. Always goes with the theme. but like, is it something that anyone would enjoy getting in the future? Yes, people love the little stress balls. So I don't care if it's shaped like champagne or a baseball or whatever. So just encouraging you guys to get really creative with it.
Yes, that is a great point. Some of those examples, like the popcorn, for example, where you check with the rules of the trade show, the venue rules, things like that, because some do provide food or insist that you purchase food through their vendor, or you might want to double check that your attraction, if you need electricity or not, make sure you order those things. So you just want to make sure you're planning for all of that. All of that was specific to different trade shows that I was showing, but yes, you want to double check that there is food allowed, things like that Courtney mentioned. That's a really great point. Thank you so much.
We've even had people play beer pong at the trade show, which is fine. They just have to buy the beer at the trade show. So yeah, no outside food or drink unless it's totally like packaged. Like the popcorn that they gave to their members was fine because it's sealed packaged. It had their stuff on it. So but obviously we're all here for any of your questions. We really hope you guys get really look over the map carefully, making your choices, get excited about the theme, and we're here for any queries you may have. And we're excited.
Yes, and read the packet for sure, 100%. I add that into my slides because it's the most important thing you can do, because every single show has different rules and different venue things that goes on. So you want to make sure you know all that, and you're addressing, like, before you even start planning, you want to make sure you read through that, because it's nothing worse than you buying a bunch of popcorn and you can't use it because they don't allow outside food. Okay, so very, very good point from Courtney. So make sure you read that before you guys reach out to Courtney and Andrea. And if you guys, you can of course always reach out to me as a supplier too. If you want to brainstorm some ideas by me, I'm happy to have any conversations with y'all outside of that as well. But
all right, ladies. Well, thank you both so much. And I hope everyone that watches this finds this beneficial. And we look forward to a great supplier trade show this year. Thank you.
Yeah, have a great one. Good luck, guys.